Greetings, namaste, and welcome to Astrology Awakening, special Friday the 13th weekend Lunar Eclipse edition. And since it's Friday the 13th, I'm going to get a little Freaky Friday with talking about the moon initially and all the weird anomalies of the moon and why it shouldn't even exist according to some people. We'll get into what the ramifications of this total lunar eclipse in Libra and Scorpio. So the eclipse actually, that's the second time that's happened when I was recording, so I'm just going to leave it in this time. This truck is after me on eclipse weekend. So the lunar eclipse actually goes between Libra and Scorpio during this little unique total lunar eclipse. So let's get started. Thanks for watching. I don't know if you can see that I'm finally getting some rain. Actually, it looks like it's sunny out, but it's a nice moody day to talk about lunar eclipses and the moon. So I'll just briefly go over some interesting tidbits that I found. Guy like Isaac Asimov, who was in addition to having some pretty sweet lit pork chop sideburns, is one of the most prolific science fiction writers, or just writers in general. And he had some interesting things to say about the moon. We cannot help but come to the conclusion that the moon by rights ought not to be there. The fact that it is one of the strokes of luck almost too good to accept. You can read the rest there, but he also says the moon, which has no atmosphere and no magnetic field, is basically a freak of nature. So he certainly was throwing some shade on the idea of there being this place that we can go and actually land on and explore. And some scientists of NASA have even said some similar things. In fact, I think I heard that I've never corroborated this, but this is sort of one of those like well-known secrets or something, that NASA actually dropped an atomic bomb, or in conjunction with the government dropped an atomic bomb on the moon, and it rang like a bell. I need to corroborate that. That just came to me. But you take a guy like Erwin Shapiro, who has the best quote, in my opinion, which is, "The best possible explanation for the moon is observational error. The moon doesn't exist." This cat was fairly skilled. I think he was at the Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics for like 20 years, but taught at Harvard astrophysics, so he might know a thing or two about all that stuff in the atmosphere. So I'm going to throw up some more quotes about the moon that I've come across, and just kind of conclude by saying I don't know what it is, and I don't really have an opinion about a lot of things. I throw a lot of thoughts out just to myself and now I guess to others through this channel, mainly because I think everything's on the table when you boil it right down. If you look at how the root races from Rudolf Steiner's anthroposophy, there's a splitting at a certain point of future races and past races. And I don't know how it exactly works, but this is how the Atlanteans went out of existence, and we and the Indo-European, Proto-Indo-European, as they like to say, iteration came out from Mount Ararat and the Caucasus Mountains and all that, and established civilization for the past almost 10,000 years. So I don't know how I got off on that tangent, except to say it's Lunar Eclipse weekend, and happy Freaky Friday the 13th. Anyhow, so the other stuff about the moon is obviously that it has something to do with the tides. It obviously creates there's a synchronicity with women's menstrual cycles, and this is actually apropos for what this video will cover, because where the eclipse is happening is Libra and Scorpio. This is the area of the body that's actually where the reproductive organs are. If you look at through the zodiac as the Kalprush, as the entire body, the seventh and eighth houses are the sort of lower abdominal area down through the reproductive organs. So this eclipse is actually happening in this area, and if people have some strange kind of sexual impulses or even some trigger moments, this may be wise. So praying for everybody to have a smooth transition, because this is a very intense eclipse that we're going to be going through. So some basic facts happening about the eclipse on Sunday night, the 15th, and going into Monday morning, the 16th. This will kick off midnight Eastern time, and that's when the maximal eclipse will be. However, what's interesting is for some of the astrologers out there who frown upon the idea of out-of-sign conjunctions, this eclipse creates quite a spanner in the works for that idea, because what's actually happening is the moon is in Libra when the eclipse begins. This is where Ketu, the south node of the moon, is. And Ketu is one half of the equation of the eclipse, Rahu being the other in Aries. So what actually happens is the moon starts the eclipse when it passes over Ketu, which is invisible, and moves into Scorpio, and then is looking at the sun in Taurus. That's just moved into Taurus like in the day previous. So this is going to create quite the dynamic energy between these two houses, specifically of Libra and Scorpio. And this is actually a very symbiotic or synergistic, however you want to say it, combination, because Libra is the natural seventh house of relationships and other people in very simple terms. And Scorpio is the natural eighth house, which is where the results or the entanglements of these relationships bear the fruit. This is also where, the secrets get held of those relationships. This is why Scorpio is such a mysterious and intriguing sign, and very much corresponds, like I was saying before, to the areas of the body that you would be most utilizing when you're in these kinds of relationships having to do with secrets and mystery. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to get this kicking off point. We're going to get this triggering of what I had sort of talked about in a previous video for the general forecast of Rahu and Ketu being where they will be for the next year and a half, going into late 2023, which is to say Rahu will be in Aries and Ketu will be in Libra. These are the natural first and seventh houses, so the house of the individual and the house of relationships. This is where it's going to get shaken up in everybody's lives. And you can look at this eclipse very much in the next few days. Check out what's happening in your relationships. Check out what's happening with yourself. Check in with yourself. And this is going to give you a very good indication of where the next year and a half is going to be. And I would say you'll probably get an immediate result in the next week or so. And then that result might be a predictor of how to approach the next year and a half. So with that, I'll just wrap up and say happy Freaky Friday 13th eclipse to everybody. Blood flower moon or whatever else it says. I don't know. Those are cool concepts, but I don't really know how they correlate. So whatever. We'll see you on the next vid. Thanks for watching.